Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Best Loser. Today is the 11th of November 2025 and it's time for me to do the midweek forex forecast for this week. All right. Well, again, as usual, I usually kick things off by taking a look at the economical calendar to see what we have on the agenda, at least from a fundamental perspective. All right. And again, taking a look at the economical calendar. Well, right now, the next news that we have, the next high impact news that we have scheduled is coming out from the Australian axis. Okay, the employment and the unemployment data. All right, scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. So that's a while from now. And now on Thursday, we do have the GDP data, right, coming from the British axis, all right? And honestly, after that particular news, every other thing is pretty much coming up from the United States axis. And I mean the high impact news, okay? And they are all, tentative as a result of the US government shutdown, okay? So, well, keep a close eye on this and let's see how it goes. It's a very light week in terms of high impact and fundamentals. So, well, I think that's actually the type of week that I personally prefer to trade in, okay? Because it doesn't give me a lot of friction to the, when the trade is playing out, okay? All right, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. As usual, I'm going to be kicking things off by taking a look at the DXY. All right, now DXY, well, if you guys remember from the weekend forex forecast, my expectation was for the markets to give us some form of retracement towards, let's say, the 9900 institutional price level. To be completely honest with you, our price has now retraced past this particular breakout level, all right, and we are pretty much running into the demand zones on the 4 hours chart from what I'm seeing, okay? If you take a look here, this is pretty much the demand zone that I'm referring to right here, okay? So this right here, price literally tapped it today, and you can see from there the bulls are beginning to come into these markets. To be completely honest with you, there is a very high chance that from here the markets can just continue to the upside, and that might be the beginning of the swing to the upside, okay? Chances are price maybe might not make it all the way back towards 9900. I won't be surprised if that does not happen, okay? But again, from right around here, I believe if we begin to break levels of structure to the upside, that would be a nice chance to start searching for long opportunities for further continuations to the upside, okay? That's pretty much it for the DXY. Not much. Price is bouncing off of this demand zone area. Obviously, the best case scenario for me personally will be for the markets to give me a push to the downside towards 9900, and then from there give me the reversal. But if I don't get that, and let's say from right around here, price is just cool with tapping into this particular demand zone area, and we begin to form higher highs in the smaller time frame, in my opinion, that would be a nice opportunity to start searching for long opportunities for further continuations to the upside. All right, so that's pretty much it for the DXY. Next up is going to be Euro US dollar. Let's take a look and see what we have going on in Euro dollar. All right, now Euro dollar, again, very similar to what we have in the DXY, okay? I was obviously keeping an eye on this particular, will I say, this supply zone that we have in this particular area. But to be completely honest with you, just like I have just said in the case of DXY, from the look of things, price might not get to this particular supply zone. All right, again, these are the markets are trading from the really high time frame, so maybe I might have narrowed this supply zone a lot. Maybe this is the supply zone that the market is paying attention to, okay? This whole retracement area, okay? So chances are that the markets might maybe not get all the way deep into that, that extreme of the supply zone. All right, and the reason why I'm saying that is because, again, if you take a look here, you can see that we have this trend line area, okay? First bounce, second bounce, took off this low, so obviously now we have a trend line, and well, this is the third bounce, and you can see that yesterday's price action, the markets gave us a nice push to the upside, giving us a nice push above the trend line to grab liquidity above that trend line. Ended up closing below the trend line, and today we are opening, and it's as if the bears are beginning to come into this market. So this might be the beginning of this move, okay? And again, if we are grabbing the whole of this retracement at this supply zone, then chances are that the bears are now obviously about to come into this market, and the supply zone has been retested, okay? And that yesterday's move, actually, the retracement gave us a retest of 1.1600 institutional price level, of which, if that is the case, obviously chances are is going to be making it at least at the bare minimum towards this previous swing low that we have in this area. But personally, I expect that level will be taken out for further continuations to the downside. All right, that's pretty much it for euro dollar. Now, in terms of my course of action, let's see, honestly, let me see what we have on the smaller time frame. This particular demand zone area that we have in this area, you can see from here, let me just show what we have here. Okay, you can see we have this demand zone area right around here. Okay, this is the demand zone from where that push started to the upside. Okay, so what I personally would like to see in euro dollar before I start looking for short opportunities will be obviously for that demand zone to give way to the downside. Okay, once this demand zone begins to give way to the downside, any pullbacks, in my own opinion, into supply zones will be a nice opportunity to start searching for short opportunities for further continuations to the downside. All right, that's pretty much it for euro US dollar. And again, obviously this is the midweek forecast, so I don't like to take a lot of time in this particular midweek forecast. Okay, now taking a look at British pound and US dollar. In this case, obviously I was keeping an eye on this particular supply zone that we have in this area, but again, we have this area of breakouts. Okay, in this particular pair, you can see this previous level of support that we had in this area. Okay, and well, we might not make it this deep. All right, price gave us that breakout. We have a supply zone right around here. Price overshot a little bit, but in my own opinion, we've had that breakout, we've had the pullback, and chances are we're about to start having that continuation now, that deeper continuation for further continuations to the downside. Okay, that is pretty much what I can see right now in British pounds and US dollar. Now, how do I intend to approach this? You can see yesterday's low is sitting right around here. So if I go into the 4 hours time frame, in my own opinion, I would personally like to see price begin to take off this yesterday's low that we have in this area. So obviously this would be my preferred course of action, price taking up that supply yesterday's low, and then that will be an indication for me that the bears are now coming into this market. If we can also take off this demand zone area, that will be perfect. Any supply zone that leads to that, in my own opinion, will be an area where I would like to start searching for short opportunities for further continuations to the downside. All right, that's pretty much it for British pounds and US dollar. Next up is going to be Australian dollar, US dollar. Now, for Australian dollar, US dollar, very similar. To be completely honest with you, the chart, like I told you guys, I am seeing a flag formation. All right, in my opinion, this pair is headed clearly to the downside. All right, but when we look at it from an let's say intraday perspective, let's say if you go into the 4 hours time frame, well, in this particular case, you can see that obviously price has just retested this supply zone area that we have on our charts. Okay, right around here, fell shy a little bit by a few pips, but you get the idea. All right, and if you obviously grab the entire zone that we have here, okay, this whole pullback, you see that price has actually retested that area. So well, obviously it's looking good now, because again, this bigger box that I have here is literally the the supply zone area from the daily charts, and now we have the supply zone in the 4 hours chart, and price has pretty much tested both of them right now. And in my own opinion, from here I will really like to see Australian dollar, US dollar begin to give us a nice push to the downside. Okay, if that doesn't happen, hey, it is what it is, but this is going to be what I would love to see in this pair. And if that begins to happen, I will be all over these charts. I'm searching for short opportunities. Okay, but again, remember, we do have the employment and unemployment data coming out from the Australian axis tomorrow, so keep that in mind. Because of that, that leads us to the next one, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. This is where I have actually my trade. I have a trader actually running right now, and I think actually this is going to be a good time for me to let you guys know that well, I have just opened a Discord channel. Or as you can see, what I'm showing you right now is the Best Loser Discord channel. I literally started this Discord channel today. My intention is to build a trading community where we are actually trading the right way. Okay, it's a lot of BS out there, and what I intend to do is to approach these markets with significant transparency. I'm not here to promise you excessive riches, but I'm here to promise you complete transparency and honesty when it comes to my trading. All right, so obviously you can see these are the trades that I currently have right now with Bitcoin, and this is just that New Zealand dollar, US dollar that I just told you guys about. All right, so this is the trade that I just took right now for New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Okay, so like I said, said, I have just started this channel. If you're interested, the link is going to be in the description box and also in the pinned comments that I'm going to be dropping in this particular video. All right. Okay, so enough of that. Let's now go back again into our charts. Why have I gone short in New Zealand dollar, US dollar? This pair is behaving as anticipated. If you guys remember from the weekend forex forecast that I did, I told you guys that I'm going to be keeping an eye in this particular supply zone, all right, that led to the break of this level of structure to the downside. As you can see here, price has given us a pullback. Actually, the first thing that happened was price came very close to the supply zone, okay, and hesitated, acted as if it was going down, and obviously that was just the markets building liquidity before dropping into the supply zone area. So obviously that this nice push to the upside grabbed liquidity above this supply zone, above this particular pullback area into the supply zone, and you can see that now the market's beginning to turn around. So well, in my own opinion, I've gotten the nice bounce that I'm looking for, and well, I'm now interested in riding this thing back to the downside to at least retest this previous swing low area. All right, that is what I would like to see in New Zealand dollar, US dollar. All right, so that's pretty much it for New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Obviously, let's say this trade does not work. We also have the daily supply zone area that is sitting up in here, right? And if that happens, obviously anywhere from right around here, I will also be looking for short opportunities. But hopefully, let's see if the market's going to give us that push to the downside. I'm currently short right now, and let's see how it goes. Okay. That's it for New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Next up is going to be US dollar, Swiss francs. This one is playing out in a textbook pattern. As you guys can remember from the weekend forex forecast that I had made, I told you guys that, well, I like the supply zone area, okay, and that I would like to see this market give me a nice push to the downside towards the 0.8000 institutional price level. And well, you can see that I have also this trend line right here, okay. This is actually the third bounce of that trend line deep into that demand zone area. And if you go into the 4 hours time frame, we also have markets testing this particular demand zone that we have in the 4 hours time frame that is literally nested inside the daily demand zone area that I had pointed out. And obviously this candle right here, if you guys can remember this candle right here, I hope I'm not making a mistake. I think this candle is the FOMC news from last week. So there's most likely a lot of orders sitting down in here, and you can see that the markets are now slowly but surely bouncing to the upside from that particular area, from that trend line, from that institutional price level, from the nested demand zone area. So in my own opinion, this is obviously a chart that I'm, literally keeping an eye on. I don't have my confirmation yet, but if the market begins to give me a nice push to the upside, forming higher highs and higher lows in the smaller time frame, I'll be all over these charts looking for a nice continuation to the upside. Okay, that's pretty much it. Again, obviously I'm going to be dropping all of that in the Discord channel as well. All right, so that's it for US dollar, Swiss francs. Next up is going to be US dollar, Canadian dollar. Now for US dollar, Canadian dollar, let me see. Well, in this particular case, again, just like in the euro dollar case, I think I might have zoomed in a whole lot, okay, all the way to the lows of this particular supply demand zone area. What I'm thinking right now is that maybe the market is just accounting for all of these candles right here, the red candles, and you can see if that is what I'm looking at, you can see that obviously this right here has now been tested and the markets can turn around from here. Who knows? The best case scenario, in my own opinion, would be for the markets to give me that push in here, but I would not be surprised if from here the markets begin to turn around for further continuations to the upside. And don't forget that obviously we do have these markets also trending from the monthly time frame. All right, so that's the reason why maybe, just maybe, we might not be getting all that deep of a pullback into towards this particular level, and the markets can just take off from here. But again, like I said, the best case scenario would be to get that deep pullback towards 139.50 area. But price has pulled back to retest 1.4000 institutional price level right around here, and right around from where this demand zone started. So like I said, I would not be surprised if this market begins to turn around. But like I said, obviously, this is a US dollar pair. I am currently short in New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and I'm keeping a very close eye on US dollar, Swiss francs, which in my own opinion is a better setup than US dollar, Canadian dollar at this particular point. So, well, if I'm if I'm in New Zealand dollar, US dollar, I mean I'm US dollar, Swiss francs, I can easily let go of US dollar, Canadian dollar. All right, so that's pretty much it. Now, that's it for US dollar, Canadian dollar. Next up is going to be US dollar, Japanese yen. I'm not going to waste your time here. From the weekend forex forecast, I have told you guys that this pair is pointing to the upside because the markets had given us a retest of this particular demand zone area. Okay, this demand zone area on the daily charts, okay, that led to the break of this level of structure that we have right here to the upside. Okay, so the markets give us that push, tapped it literally. We didn't get close to my area, okay, because I was keeping an eye on 15200. I would have loved to see a deeper pullback. That didn't happen, but again, price tested that demand zone area. A lot of buyers came into this market, and now we are pretty much close to the previous resistance area of 154.50. Okay, so well, right now, if we zoom into the 4 hours time frame, personally, I'm keeping an eye at that 154.50 area. All right. You can see it's been a key level of our resistance, almost to the T, all right? 3 times tested and has not broken. What I would like to see, obviously, going forward right now is for the markets to give me a nice push to the upside, okay? Breaking this particular resistance area that we have around 154.50 institutional price level. If that happens, obviously, this is going to be the demand zone. Any pullbacks into the demand zone area, I'll be looking for an opportunity to go long for further continuations to the upside. That's going to be a really high quality trade, in my own opinion. All right, and you know, if obviously if this breakout happens even from the smaller time frames, maybe the minute 30 and minute 15, if I see opportunities off of demand zones, I'm going to be taking them as well. And again, as usual, I'm going to be keeping you guys posted in the Discord channel. All right, so that's pretty much it for US dollar Japanese yen. Next up is going to be GJ. All right, British pound some Japanese yen. Well, this pair, like I told you guys, is headed to the upside. You can see right now we're pretty much in a consolidation area. Price has pushed to the upside to retest, you know, these areas that we have on our chart, this resistance area, right around that 203.25 area. Okay, you can see this area of resistance on our chart. So it's now resistance. The market has tested it 3 times now without breaking. Obviously, I'm keeping an eye at that 203.25 level right now. Personally, what I'd like to see is obviously for price to give me a nice push to the upside, breaking past that key level of resistance that we have on our chart. And upon pullback, obviously, I'll be looking for opportunities to, you know, trade off of demand zones that form for further continuations to the upside. All right, so that's pretty much it for British pound some Japanese yen. Next up is going to be Euro yen. Now, Euro yen, obviously, very similar. If you go to the daily charts, price is very close to the high of the daily charts. Obviously, I got a very nice trade in this particular pair. All right, I think I got out around 178.22, something like that. Okay, but right now the bulls are still pushing. We are now pretty much around the previous swing high area. All right, 178.80 area. So, well, what I would like to see in this pair, like I said, I would like to see a nice push to the upside. Okay, breaking that 178.80 resistance area. If that happens, demand zones that form in this area, in my own opinion, if the market begins to pull back, I'll be looking to trade off of them for further continuations to the upside. All right, that's pretty much it for Euro yen. Next up is going to be Australian dollar Japanese yen. Again, well, the market's right now reacting off of this supply zone area that we have right around here. You can see how the markets gave us a very, you know, quick sell-off from that area. The bulls came in, pushed price into that supply zone area, and you can see right now the market is pretty much you know, in some form of sideways consolidation at the moment. All right, so well, like I said, I believe the bulls are in these markets, and what I would love to see is for price to give me a nice push to the upside, taking off this level of resistance that we have around 180 level. All right, any pullbacks, demand zones that led to that breakout, I'll be keeping an eye for further continuations to the upside. All right, so that's pretty much it for Australian dollar Japanese yen. Next up is British pounds Australian dollar. Now, for British pounds Australian dollar, to be completely honest with you, I don't have anything in this pair right now. Looks generally bearish, like I told you guys. Obviously, you can see we dipped into that supply zone area, but nothing is happening at this moment, so I'm not even going to waste your time. Okay. Next up, Euro pounds. Euro pounds, in my own opinion, I have a setup off of the daily that is well, I don't know if market is gonna get there, but as you can see, this is this demand zone that led to the break of this level of structure. I think it's actually a level of resistance, actually. All right, to the upside. So, well, I was keeping an eye on this pair for a possible push to the downside into that particular area. That's what I would love to see. Well, not yet gone, because again, this could be the markets just building liquidity, just above the demand zone area, so that the markets can push to the downside, grab liquidity into the demand zone area for further continuations to the upside. If that happens, well, I'll be looking for bounces off of that demand zone area. But right now, the markets are quite far from the current market price, that I don't know if this is going to be happening within the next 3 days of this week. Okay, just wanted to put that out there. All right, Euro Australian dollar, well, sideways consolidation, guys. I'm not even going to waste your time. You can see it for yourself. I'm not going to waste any time on this pair. Next up is going to be gold. Now, gold, finally, the bulls have actually given us a nice push to the upside. You can see from the weekend Forex forecast. Oops, let me expand this chart. 1 second, guys. From the weekend Forex forecast, I think I told you guys I'm keeping an eye on this particular level. Okay, that if this level gets broken to the upside, that, well, the bulls are in control. And as you can see right here, that level literally got taken off from markets open right here, and we got a nice push to the upside. And well, the bulls are in these markets. Actually, I was keeping an eye on this demand zone earlier today, but by the time this setup came, I don't trade past noon Eastern. So this happened afternoon. You can see this is right around 1 p.m. So that's why I didn't take this trade. But well, you can see the bulls are still holding their grounds in these particular markets. And well, right now you can see excuse me. Right now you can see that well, we have a key level of resistance right around that 4150 institutional price level. All right, 4150 is the resistance area that we have right now. So well, is this going to end up being a range? I don't know. The markets are pretty much in the middle right around now. Probably moving again towards this particular demand zone area, from where maybe we can get a bounce. Who knows? Maybe the market is trying to form a range, and then from here we might get another push to the upside. The market is pretty much in the middle of nowhere right now, so I'm not gonna say much. This is a possibility. The markets can break this as well to push further to the downside. Who knows? All right, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on this as the market, as the plus price action develops. I'm going to be keeping you guys posted, but obviously the key point is going to be 1.4150 right now. I would love to see these markets take off 141.50, and when that happens, that shows me that the bulls are still waxing strong in this market, and any demand zones that form, I'll be looking to trade off of those. All right, for further continuations to the upside. That is pretty much it for gold. I don't have anything in silver. I'm not going to waste your time. Last but not the least is Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin, in my own opinion, guys, well, as you can see, obviously the weekly, the markets pretty much might be forming a double bottom formation right around here. You can see how we got a very huge week as the markets came very close to those lows that we have around here. And right now, if you take a look at the 4 hours time frame, you notice that we were printing lower highs and lower lows, right? And the markets gave us this nice push into this particular supply zone area. As you can see, we got a nice push to the downside, but we didn't quite take off this low. And then from here, the bulls started coming into this market, and finally we got a nice push to the upside that took off that supply zone area, creating this demand zone in the process. This is the demand zone, right? So well, like I called in the Discord, I am now long. Markets has pulled back to retest that demand zone area, and in my own opinion, from here I will expect the bulls to start coming into this market for further continuations to the upside. So well, what I'm saying is that this might be the beginning of the bullish trend in Bitcoin. All right, so let's see. As long as the markets remain above this high, above these particular lows that we have around, I think 98.80 area. All right, that's a good area in my own opinion. 98.80, 98.750. I think that's a good area. So keep an eye on this demand zone area in my own opinion. Markets can still maybe give us another push, but as long as this demand zone is holding, in my own opinion, that's going to be a nice trade from a risk reward perspective. Okay, all right, so that's pretty much it for the weekend forex forecast. I mean, for the midweek forex forecast. Like I told you guys, I just literally created a Discord channel today. Feel free to join. I'm going to be posting my trades, obviously my potential trade setups as well, and also obviously you guys can also interact in the community area where I have, you know, the general section as well. Okay, so it's a new channel, but again, feel free to join. All right, I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys in the Discord channel as well. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this particular video. Take care and see you on the next one. Cheers.